Hello students, this is your economics teacher INR. I hope you are well and utilizing the time wisely. In the previous class, you learned about third chapter theories of employment and income. Today, you are going to learn about fourth chapter consumption and investment function. Firstly, we will discuss consumption function, technical attributes of the consumption function, Gein's psychological law of consumption. Please watch this video very carefully till the end. I am going to ask you a few questions from previous class. Question number 1. Give the formula for effective demand. Question number 2. Who has published the general theory of employment, interest and money? Question number 3. What is marginal efficiency of capital? Okay, answer for the question. Question number 1. Give the formula for effective demand. ED is equal to Y is equal to C plus I is equal to output is equal to employment. Question number 2. Who has published the general theory of employment, interest and money? John Maynard Keynes. Question number 3. What is marginal efficiency of capital? Marginal efficiency of capital refers to the expected rate of return over cost of a new capital good. Fine. Let us enter into the fourth chapter, consumption and investment functions. Students, take the page number 52. First, we will discuss the introduction of this topic. Introduction. In the second chapter, we have seen the concept of national income, its measurements. Okay, what is meant by national income? National income means the total money value of all final goods and services produced in a country during a particular period of time or 1 year. Next, importance and difficulties. The present chapter deals with consumption function and the investment function, which plays a vital role in influencing national income. The primary macroeconomic objective is accelerations of growth of national income. We have already seen that national income comprises of consumption goods C and investment goods I. There is close correlation between investment and national income. The multiplier refers to the change in national income resulting from change in investment. The value of multiplier itself depends on consumption function or marginal propensity to consume. The consumption function is the relationship between consumption expenditure and the national income. The unspent portion of national income is called savings, which becomes investment and thereby capital. The relationship between consumption expenditure and the capital expenditure is explained by the principles of accelerator. All these variables are closely interconnected. Take the page number 53, left side. In these chapters, one can learn the consumption function, psychological law of consumption, investment function, multiplier, accelerator and super multiplier. Next, you are going to learn about consumption function. Okay, what is consumption function? Take the page number 53. People spend most of their income on commodities. Some spend their income fully or some other spend a portion and keep the rest of for savings. How much the community as a whole spend on saves? It is about the relationship between income and consumption. The term consumption function explains the relationship between income and consumption. A function is the link between two or more variables. The proportion of income spent on actual consumption at a different level of income is called propensity to consume. Take the page number 53. Meaning of consumption function. The consumption function or propensity to consume refers to income consumption relationship. It is a functional relationship between two aggregates, viz. Total consumption and cross-national income. Symbolically, the relationship is represented as C is equal to F of Y, where C is equal to consumption, Y is equal to income, F is equal to function. Thus, the consumption function indicates a functional relationship between C means consumption and Y is income, where C is dependent variable and Y is independent variable, that is C is determined by Y. This relationship based on the ceteris paribus or other things being same assumption, as only income consumption relationship is considered and all possible influence on consumption are held constant. In fact, consumption function is a schedule of the various amounts of consumption expenditure corresponding to different level of income. A hypothetical consumption schedule is given in table 4.1. Income consumption schedule. This schedule given three columns. One is income, second consumption, third savings. If we take C is equal to 100 plus 0.8y, then MPC is equal to 0.8. Here 100 means autonomous consumption, 0.8 means marginal propensity to consume. Here if y is equal to 0, C is equal to 100. If y is equal to 100, C is equal to 180. If y is equal to 200, C is equal to 260. If y is equal to 300, C is equal to 340, or MPC is equal to delta C by delta y is equal to 0.8. Keynes made it clear that there is a direct relationship between income and consumption. Consumption function or propensity to consume is the ratio that measures the functional relationship between income and consumption. In mathematical form of the relationship can be expressed as C is equal to A plus BY. Thus, a consumption function is generally described in terms of the linear equation y is equal to A plus BY, where the constant A is the autonomous consumption and the slope B is marginal propensity to consume. The rate of change in consumption due to change in income depends on the MPC. This equation simply says that consumption C depends on income Y. The plus sign indicates that as income increases, obviously consumption will also increases, but the rate of increases in consumption will be little less than that of the rate of increase in income. It is because some unspent portion of the income will be saved. All these points or the income consumption relationship can also be expressed in figure 4.1. The vertical axis shows the spending on consumption indicated by Y, and the horizontal axis shows income or output indicated by X. The straight line consumption function CC is defined in terms of equation C is equal to 20 plus 0.8y. Please take the page number 53. In mathematical terms, C is equal to A plus BY, or C is equal to 20 plus 0.8y, where 20 is refers to autonomous consumption, 0.8 refers to marginal propensity to consume, where A greater than 0 and B less than 1. C is equal to consumption, A is equal to constant or intercept is equal to 20. Please take the page number 54. Y is equal to income, B is equal to MPC or marginal propensity to consume is equal to 0.8 is equal to delta C by delta Y. The above table shows that consumption is an increasing function of income because consumption expenditure increase with increase in income. Here it is shown that when income is in zero, people spend out of their post savings on consumption because they must eat in order to live. That is known as autonomous consumption. See the table. Here when Y is equal to 120, C is equal to 120. Point B is the diagram. When y is equal to 180, C is equal to 170, S is equal to 10. Point S is the diagram. If y increases to 360, C is equal to 320, S is equal to 40. See the diagram? In the diagram, income is measured horizontally and consumption is measured vertically. In 45-degree line, at all levels, income and consumption are equal. It is a linear consumption function based on the assumption that consumption changes by the same amount as does income. Thus, consumption function measures not only the amount spent on consumption but also the amount saved. This is because the propensity to save is merely the propensity not to consume. The 45-degree line may therefore be regarded as a zero saving line, and the shape and the position of the C curve indicates the division of income between consumption and savings. Second topic, technical attributes of the consumption function. There are four technical attributes of the consumption function. First, the average propensity to consume. Second, the marginal propensity to consume. Third, the average propensity to save. Fourth, the marginal propensity to save. First, the average propensity to consume. The average propensity to consume is the ratio of consumption expenditure to any particular level of income. In other words, average propensity to consume is the percentage of total disposable income which household spend on goods and services. It is the ratio of total consumption to total disposable income. It is obtained by dividing the consumption by income. Algebraically, it may be expressed as under APC is equal to C by Y, where C is equal to consumption, Y is equal to income. Second, marginal propensity to consume. The marginal propensity to consume may be defined as the ratio of change in consumption to the change in income. In economics, the marginal propensity to consume is a metric that quantifies induced consumption, concept that the increase in personal consumer spending occurs with an increase in disposable income. It is obtained by dividing change in consumption by change in income. Algebraically, it may be expressed as under MPC is equal to delta C by delta Y, where delta C is equal to change in consumption, delta Y is equal to change in income. MPC is positive but less than unity. Third, the average propensity to save. The average propensity to save is the ratio of saving to income. Average propensity to save is the quotient obtained by dividing the total saving by total income. In economics, the average propensity to save, also known as the saving ratio, is the proportion of income which is saved, usually expressed for household saving as a fraction of total household disposable income. It is obtained by dividing saving by income. It can be expressed algebraically in the form of equation as under APS is equal to S by Y, where S is equal to saving, Y is equal to income. Fourth, the marginal propensity to save. The marginal propensity to save is the ratio of change in saving to a change in income. On the other hand, marginal propensity to save is the proportion of an increase in income that gets saved instead of spent on consumption. In other words, the marginal propensity to save refers to the proportion of an aggregate rise in income that a consumer saves rather than spend on the consumptions of goods and services. It can be expressed algebraically as MPS is equal to delta S by delta Y, where delta S is equal to change in saving, delta Y is equal to change in income. Next, we will discuss Gaines' psychological law of consumption. Gaines suggested the fundamental psychological law of consumption which forms the base of the consumption function. He stated that the fundamental psychological law upon which we are entitled to depend with great confidence, both prior from our knowledge of human nature and from the detailed facts of experience, is that men are disposed as a rule and on the average to increase their consumption as their income increases, but not by as much as the increase in their income. The law implies that there is a tendency on the part of the people to spend on consumption less than the full increment of income. Gaines pointed out the psychology of the community is such that when real income is increased, aggregate consumption is increased, but not so much as income. Gaines also made it clear that in the short run, the consumption function is stable because consumption habits of the people are more or less stable in short period. Next, assumptions of Gaines' psychological law of consumption. Gaines' law is based on the following assumption. First one, ceteris paribus are constant exogenous variables. The other variables such as income distribution, taste, habits, social customs, price movements, population growth, etc. do not change and consumption depend on income alone. Second assumption, existence of normal conditions. The law holds good under normal conditions. If, however, the economy is faced with abnormal and extraordinary circumstances like war, revolution or hyperinflation, the law will not operate. People may spend the whole of increased income on consumption. Third, existence of laissez-faire capitalist economy. The law operates in a rich capitalist economy where there is no government intervention. People should be free to spend increased income. In the case of regulations of private enterprises and consumption expenditure by the state, the law breaks down. Next, proposition of the law. There are three propositions of Gaines' psychological law of consumption. First proposition, when income increases, consumption expenditure also increases but by a smaller amount. Second proposition, the increased income will be divided in some proportion between consumption expenditure and saving. Third, increase in income always leads to an increase in both consumption and savings. Student, please see the table, the three proposition of the law. In the table, we have assumed that first column gives income, column 2 gives the consumption. The saving for all the levels can be calculated as income minus consumption, that is, saving is equal to income minus consumption. This table explains three propositions of Gaines' psychological law of consumption. So, first proposition, income increases by 60 crores. That is, as income increases from 120 crores to 180 crores and 180 crores to 240 crores. So the differences of income increases by 60 crores and the increase in consumption is by 50 crores. That is, as consumption increases from 120 crores to 170 crores and 170 crores to 220 crores. So the differences of consumption increases by 50 crores. Proposition 2. The increase in income of 60 crores in each case is divided in some proportion between consumption and saving respectively. That is, consumption 50 crores and savings 10 crores. Proposition 3. As income increases, consumption as well as saving increases. Neither consumption nor saving has fallen. See the page number 57. Diagrammatically, the three propositions are explained in figure 4.2. Here, income is measured horizontally and consumption and savings are measured on the vertical axis. C is the consumption function curve and a 45-degree line represents income consumption equality. This diagram explaining the three propositions of Gaines' psychological law of consumption. So, first proposition, see the diagram. When income increases from 120 to 180 crores, consumption also increases from 120 to 170 crores. But the increase in consumption is less than the increase in income. 10 is saved. Please take the page number 58. Second proposition, when income increases to 180 crores to 240 crores, it is divided in some proportion between consumption by 170 crores and 220 and saving by 10 crores and 20 crores respectively. Proposition third, see the diagram. Increase in income to 180 crores to 240 crores lead to increased consumption 170 crores and 220 crores and increased saving 20 crores and 10 crores than before. It is clear from the winding area below the C curve and the saving gap between 45-degree line and C curves. That's all for today. We will continue in the next class. Finish the assignment by clicking the link below.
Do you feel the vibe?